minute for it to kick in. Okay, so the recording started. I'm going to turn off my camera, watch your start button. When it stops flashing, all your guests are in, and have fun. I'm here if you need me, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
Oh my God, of course. You're like, talking to you is one of my favorite things to do in the world.
I know.
So this is great.
We just get to let everybody else in on our conversation. So
I know. So I guess now that it says stop, people are in.
We're done.
Is that right? Okay. So I'm just going to introduce this situation. So I'm Jennifer Dawes from Jennifer Dawes-Design, and this is Monica Stephenson from ANZA Gems.
Hi, everyone. I see you.
And I am going to be talking to Monica about ANZA, and she's going to show us some gemstones, and hopefully we'll have a little buying event here. So, and I'm just so happy to be here with Monica, who is one of my dearest friends, and somebody who I admire and is so inspiring to me every time I talk to her.
Oh. You're so sweet. I'm wearing you right now, actually.
This
is not an ANZA piece, but it's a Jennifer Dawes piece.
It sure is. That was your 25th anniversary present.
20th, actually.
20th.
So 20th, like 5 years ago, which is crazy. So hello, everyone. It is you, Marvin. I was wondering when I saw Marvin in the chat if it was Marvin Wambua from Nairobi, and he is here. We might even have a stone of yours out here, Marvin, we can show people. So, yeah. So thank you for the kind intro. Jennifer's just such an incredible, can I say badass? I think I can say badass.
Sure.
She works with fire. She does a lot of amazing jewelry. I'm wearing another piece that's, this one is an ANZA gem. It's an orange sapphire that you did a couple years ago. So yeah, we kind of go way back.
We do. And my life got much better the moment I met you. So,
Thank you.
It's great. Like, we've had so many wonderful collaborations, and I feel like you were kind of you were like a dream come true for me, because you know, I've been on this journey for about 15 years trying to do mind to market jewelry, because it's important on so many different levels, from energetic level to, you know, to how it matters in the world and society, and taking care of each other and taking care of the planet. And you decided to launch ANZA pretty much like at the perfect moment, where we could get a traceable story. We knew exactly where they're coming from. We knew the miners on the ground, and that was, you know, just unprecedented at the time. So you want to talk to us a little bit about when you started ANZA and why?
Yeah. So it's been quite a journey, and if anyone had asked me like 6 years ago, like you'll be a gem dealer who's going to go to East Africa and source gemstones directly, I would have laughed, actually, literally in your face. It was a little random, but I did go to East Africa for the filming of a jewelry documentary called Sharing the Rough. And what I saw there in East Africa, in Tanzania and Kenya specifically, and we went to mines, we went to schools, we went to mining communities. And what I found was that, you know, people are working incredibly, incredibly hard to just get, one gem out of the ground, like one pocket of gems, one small deposit. And they're not, in East Africa, they are not getting the recognition that they need, deserve. There's very little financial reward for them. It's very different than the last mile that the jewelry travels, like to the consumer, to the designer. So in my naivety, because all big dreams have to start with a certain amount of like crazy naivety, like, well, we can fix this. We can do something about this, because really the lack of access to like education and resources, those are, to me, those are very solvable things. If we connect people to education resources, if we connect these communities to there's no shortage of ambition there. Like they will do the right thing if they have access to those materials and to those to that knowledge. So my business model was I would go and I would buy rough, in East Africa. This is amethyst.
Matches the nails.
Oh, thanks. By design. So I would travel. My model was I would travel. I would buy from licensed brokers there who are buying directly from the artisanal miners in their communities. And then I would use artisanal cutters in the US to facet the gems. So, these are spessartite garnets from Tanzania, and support artisanal cutters also in the US. And then I would work with designers who, like you, are very concerned about the provenance of their gems and where do they come from, what's the story behind them, the fairness and equity kind of at each step of the way. And then 10% of sales would go back into schools that we support, a Maasai primary school, trade schools that teach people how to cut. The more that Tanzanians and Kenyans can, and all Africans, any source community can actually process the gems, the more benefit those communities really get from there. So that was kind of the whole premise and the whole model. And I've made something like 15 trips, I think, to East Africa in the last few years. And, the reality is that like the gems are beautiful, and thanks.
Can you tell us what type of gems are coming from East Africa?
Yes. So there is a, thanks, Rachel. Rachel's putting links in the chat right now that are linking to our, we have like a gem page along with all the other gem dealers for the boutique. And there's a whole variety. You'll see a very colorful page when you pull that up. But basically, a lot of garnets come out of East Africa. So I'll do this and see if I can get. So like these are rhodolites. I believe that these are actually Moyo gems from our Tanzanian project, which we'll touch on a little bit more. So garnets in every hue, green, red, pink, orange, spessartite. So garnets, sapphires come out of the ground there too. Things like, let's see, where's like all my colors. A lot of really beautiful sapphires come out of the ground in Tanzania, and actually Kenya as well, but they are beautiful, unheated, untreated colors. So really spectacular colors straight out of the ground. And so if you're a good cutter, you can kind of coax that out. There's tourmalines, a whole rainbow of tourmalines. Amethyst, some quartz varieties come out of there too. Again, that matches the nails today. And more beautiful garnets. Some quartz, there's just a huge amount of, these are just some fun amethyst crystals aqua from our last market day that we did in Tanzania a month ago, a remote market day that we managed to pull off. So all of the rough you see here actually has been sourced from Tanzania from our Women Miner project. So
is that the Moyo project?
That's Moyo. So, okay. So what happened?
Do you want to explain to us the difference between ANZA and Moyo?
Yeah, so I get this question a fair amount. So ANZA and 1948 are the two gem dealers who are involved in the Moyo collaboration. So Moyo Gems is a joint project with PACT. It's an international NGO that has offices everywhere, but they specialize in mine to market, artisanal mining communities. Christina Villegas is, I think, on this on the chat, and she and I met through the Ethical Metalsmiths Board, and we kind of connected there, and then we also connected with Stuart Poole of 1948, and we are building off of the education that was there's an artisanal mining education project that GIA did. That Robert Weldon was involved with. And actually Marvin, who's on the chat from Nairobi, he was involved in that project as well. There's Marvin. It's a collaboration where we all sort of realized the need for women artisanal miners are some of the most marginalized people on the planet, actually. And as difficult as artisanal mining is, for anyone, if you're a woman, you're often on the periphery and really don't have access to the same amount of knowledge, education, and resources. So that's what made the GIA project so interesting. Sorry, I did something to my computer. Okay.
We can see you, by the way, so it's good.
And we all agreed that we needed to try to provide a market for these women's gems. Mm-hmm. So building off of that knowledge that, the gemstone education kind of provided. So we work with TAWOMA, the Tanzania Women Miners Association, and they identified, there's a specific region that we work with in Tanga, Tanzania. And we have since 2018, when we did some initial scoping of the project, we launched market days in 2019 with big plans in 2020, of course, to go back multiple times and buy lots more gems. And of course, COVID hit in February. There have been no buyers, no international buyers really in this region in Tanzania or Kenya since Tucson, really. I mean, imagine. And so we managed to pull off a remote buying day a month ago. And so that's what the rough that you see on my desk here is. I'm quite pleased that I received gems. We got money into the region. We were able to pull this off because we had amazing kind of partners on the ground there with PACT Tanzania. And because borders they're technically open, but it would be very difficult to travel right now. So we're very happy that our local partners are able to kind of fill that void.
How long does it take for you to get rough and have it cut typically?
It's kind of a process. It's kind of a cycle. So one of the things that made ANZA unique when I launched this like a few years ago was the fact that we bought the rough, and I would photograph the rough, and then I would photograph the finished gem. We track and trace everything through the system so that we know exactly, what buying date we did, what's the export date and country of origin. Going back to the difference between ANZA and Moyo, ANZA I can trace back to my broker, dealer, and the region where the gemstone comes from. With Moyo, I can actually trace back to the individual miner who actually dug it out of the ground. So that's a kind of a key difference. There's just an extra level of traceability with the Moyo. But
so it's not the Kimberly process, it's the Monica process.
It's the Monica process and the Megan process, my trusty, wonderful Megan who helps me track all of this. So the process is quite lengthy. We have to import the gems, and I'm either hand carrying those or we ship those, all exported properly with all of the documents, and then we have to process everything. We take parcels, we have, we might buy, 20 to, 10, 20, 30 gems at a time in these parcels. And then we have to separate each one. Each one of these gems then gets weighed gets recorded and then sent to a cutter that I feel like is going to coax the best out of that gem. Mm-hmm. And we actually have a few cutters who are women, which is wonderful. And I'm looking to support more and more of that. Beth, I think Beth Steer is on. She's one of our cutters. She's
I see her.
All of the Moyo gems and a lot of the ANZA gems. And we let the cutters kind of coax what they want out of the gemstone. I rarely intervene and say, I need this shape or I need this size. I really let the cutter decide. And
when you have pain in the ass designers like me who want something specific, right?
Yeah, and we can do that too. So that's the beautiful thing. Poor Beth, like, I can't tell you how many times we're like, so like they really love this gem, but could we do it like this instead? So, but there's still a one of a kind element, right? Like just because, we happen to have a sapphire of a particular size and shape doesn't mean that we can duplicate the exact thing. A lot of our gems are one of a kind. Just by nature of kind of this process we go through. But we can document. So when people buy something, I usually have a designer who wants to buy something for a piece. I often will have the rough, photograph. I know exactly where it came from. I know who cut it. So all of those details are traced and provided to the designer who can purchase.
Well, let's look at some beautiful things.
Okay.
Shall we?
Rachel's so good. She knew that was spinel that I was holding up randomly. So, okay, I just want to make one announcement because this is kind of like an opportunity here. So ANZA Gems hit 10,000 followers maybe a month ago or so, and we want to celebrate that. So for everyone who is actually on this chat, there's an advantage to being here because we're going to do a giveaway of one of the collaborations we did was with Wendy Brandes, and it's called ANZA Pure. It's a rough. It's a rough Savarite from Kenya on an 18 karat chain, and we have either pink. We either have pink spinel or Savarite. So whichever whichever color you prefer. But we are going to do a giveaway on the ANZA Instagram account. So if you're not following us already, go make sure you're following at ANZA Gems. And anyone who drops their at for Instagram in the chat, Megan is tracking that, and you will get 5 entries for this giveaway for the necklace. So we feel like celebrating 10,000 followers, all organic, all one at a time, all individual people, not bots or whatever, is like a huge thing. All right, we've got names rolling in already. So
good job.
So you can wear one of our gorgeous, rough gems around your neck. They're really beautiful pendants with it's kind of celebrating the beauty of the rough, which I think is gorgeous. So I had to make that announcement so people have a chance to put their names in the chat. I didn't want
they're going in
left and have people miss out. So so anyway, we're doing that. And where do you want to start? What gem do you want to?
Let's look at. Can you show us an example of the rough and then a piece that's similar cut?
Oh, you're so good. You're so good. Actually, I have a really good example. So rhodolite, we're really picky about our garnets. I don't buy just anything. And of course the light in Seattle just disappeared, but this is rhodolite garnet rough, and I buy things that are really transparent, translucent, really beautiful color. This happens to be rough from Salma, who is one of the leaders of Tuoma, and she does she's a miner herself, but she's also one of the primary people in our program, and she really helps run it along with Mama Eunice. But this is a gorgeous rhodolite that was cut from this rough. And it's just so beautiful. It's really, really hard to communicate just how gorgeous the color is, but there's often a hint of orange in this. Like it's hard to say. It's hard to, most people think of rhodolite as being, pinky purple, but there's almost like orange and like vivid orchid in the gems as well.
That's a really great way of explaining it. Orchid. Yeah.
Like orchid.
I've seen these in person and they're just spectacular.
Thank you. Actually, I believe that this gem, we were talking about Marvin Wambua. I believe that this gem, this is a rhodolite that I think he cut. So he's a cutter based in Nairobi. And this amethyst is by Beth, actually. But Marvin is amazing. He is so well versed in kind of the entire gem trade in the whole area. He trained in the US. So when he does cutting, it is literally cut to, the finest international standards. So, so I love to buy from Marvin when I get to go to Kenya, and maybe Marvin, I can manage to buy from you distance as well, because I can't get there too soon. So, but where were we? Oh, more gems, right? So
yeah. I want to see everything, but I know we're probably a little short on time. But give us some, can you show us some greens?
Yeah. Well, I know you love greens.
I love greens.
Yeah. So these are
and the garnets that are coming out of there are just incredibly beautiful.
These are kind of mint. These are a mix of both. Trying to get the glare off of it. This is a mix of both Tanzanian and Kenyan. And again, really beautiful cutting. This is a variety of cutting from, I believe, from Peter Taraka, who's based in New York.
Are those grossular?
Yes. So these are grossular garnets, and they can range from, here's some more, and some of these are on the site as well. Really beautiful color, very transparent, translucent. They can also get really intense, more Savarite green, like the shield shape.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful gem. And then this is spinel down below. But the colors are pretty gorgeous. This little box, I have a lot of fun putting these gem boxes together.
I bet you do.
So there's yellow tourmaline, a pink Kenyan garnet, and then this gorgeous, lively, super sparkly. This is also grossular garnet. So
can you set that bottom one aside for me?
Seriously?
I think that might be mine.
This is really
it's pretty pixelated, but I have an idea. I know what that is.
Supposed to buy okay, all right. Well, I'll take it.
Isn't this a buying event? Are you guys buying here, or is it just me? So let's get on it.
I'm one of the worst salespeople ever, too. I'm like, are you sure you want it? Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, I'm not going to ask you twice. If you say you want it, I will set this one aside for you. And actually, this one was cut by Marvin. It's from Marvin. So full circle, the whole thing.
Wait, it is?
It's Marvin. So
oh my God, awesome. Marvin, I'm gonna get to meet you in person one day.
Jennifer, I don't know, maybe we should see a show of hands, who wants to join me when we actually can go back to East Africa. I'll try to
I'm there.
I'll try to organize a trip maybe for some very loyal designers who have purchased quite a bit over the years. Oh, Melanie's in, so we've got some people in. One thing I should mention is that for our Sapphires, we kind of thought it would be nice to do a show special for the conference for Sapphires. So I think I've shown a couple, but like, we have on the site, there's this really pretty little orchid, like little coffin shape. And then this is like a little teal blue green. It's so pretty. This was actually from my very first trip that I went to East Africa. I bought my first buying trip where my palms were really sweaty, and I'm like, how am I supposed to look at this and figure out that it's going to turn into this, right?
Oh my God, that's just a little bit of pressure right there.
So nothing like just like going for it, right? Like I said, naivety or just,
I disagree. It's not naivety. It is vision. Okay.
Thank you.
You are visionary, my dear.
Thank you. I appreciate that, actually. I'll spend the rest of the time convincing myself that's true. So more sapphires that come out of the ground in really beautiful colors. So like I love the cuts. They're all just a little bit unique and different. And we have like a lot of purples and blues in this one, including this one is like really vivid, kind of like a purpley orchid color too.
By the way, I might have a client for that teal one. So
okay.
Yeah. I need a closer look at that.
Okay. That sounds good.
Let's go shopping.
I love it. But sapphires can also come in some really, like those were kind of more dramatic shades. These are like pink, like a pink tablet rose cut, and this green kind of like a teardrop, like really interesting kite shape. And then this is actually like an orange color. It's like really interesting.
Just got a little brown in it.
Yeah, a little brown, a little orange, but the cut is so extraordinary. I think all three of these were cut by Peter Taraka. Some of these are on the site as well. And then, sometimes you just have really pretty blue, like pretty blue sapphires too. So I love this.
Oh, those are beautiful. That top one is gorgeous.
Yeah. So they're all beautiful kind of in their own way.
You were saying that the Superman shaped one is amazing. That one is also a sapphire?
That is also a sapphire. So, okay. And it's a bit more, it's like a true purple. Like it's like really like beautiful violet, not overly pinkish, like really true violet. So I wish you guys could see them all in person. I'm still trying to figure out how to show these virtually, but hopefully you get the general idea. Let's see. So Jay added to cart. That's pretty funny. So, all right. So what else do we have here? This top one is actually an emerald. We call it green beryl because like it's, it's probably emerald intensity, but it's lovely.
It's got a little bit of the blue hue to it though.
Yeah. And this one in the center is a green beryl, so a little bit different color variety than the top. And then this is actually like tourmaline. This is really beautiful. It's from Congo. Like I sometimes just have to buy it like when I'm there, even though it doesn't actually come from Kenya or Tanzania. But it's so beautiful. The crystals are.
Tell me about that emerald. I might need that one too.
Yeah,
what's the weight on that?
It's 1.27 carats, and no treatment whatsoever because it just kind of comes out of the ground and then it's cut, immediately. There's just no treatment. There's not a treatment sort of philosophy there, and so no oil, no nothing. It's just as is. But
oh my God, it's so beautiful. Okay. You're inspired.
Terrible. So, all right. So it looks like Andrea's doing a quick end of day wrap up session, 5:15 Central. I still have to do all the math, but I think that's 3:15 my time. But Yeah, so there's some gorgeous gems. Like I don't know. I hope people have had like a chance to kind of see. These are
my
like,
God, those are beautiful. Are those the rhodolites?
yeah, those are big juicy rhodolites
Those are
that
big ones.
I think actually most of these were cut in Kenya in like in country. So we try to support facetors there if we can. So if there's a theme for this for ANZA and our talk, it's how do we support artisans kind of at every step of the way? And, you know, for people who would say, well, how do you make that a business? Like, we're living proof, like we're doing it. Like, so the idea that you can do good and do well at the same time, I think is a really important. I think one theme through all of these gem talks today is that these are people kind of carving out in different places in the world ways that they can have positive impact on the people who are actually sourcing the materials. And we are trying, you know, we're trying to elevate the artisanal miners who have been invisible for so long. So, and also the cutters are in the periphery too. No one talks about the cutters, right? So the fact that we can actually highlight and support and promote our cutters as well. That's, you know, that's part of our mission.
And I'd like to thank Susan Wheeler for putting this conference on and making those connections between the designers and the miners and the cutters, and really being able to create a community where I just talked to Marvin, who cut my stone. I know. Oh my God, he's in Africa. That's amazing. So that means the world to me. Can you imagine what that means to my clients? Yeah. You know, it's really, it's an amazing thing. This is a small world, and if we just continue to do good things and elevate each other and empower each other, we can change this place into an incredible, beautiful place to be proud of.
Well said. And I think that people are really listening. I mean, the attendance has been fantastic at the conference, and I think it shows that people are listening and consumers definitely care about this. So let us help you tell your story. Let us give you all of those, not just juicy gems, but beautiful details as well. So it looks like we're going to get kicked off here in a second, but I just want to say thank you just sincerely, humbly to everyone who tuned in. Thank you, my dear friend, Jennifer. You are a treasure, and I love you, and so good to see your face. So
I love you too. It's